That's good. So he said that we live in Zambia. Do you know where Zambia is? Any idea? Europe, not Europe. Africa. That's right. We live in the southern part of Africa. It's very far away. Do you know how far away it is from here? How long? If you took a boat, how long do you think it would take you to get to Africa?
A whole day.
A whole day? You know, when Maggie's parents were missionaries, they went on by boat, and it took them 7 days to get there, a whole week to get there. But now we have planes, so we can fly on a plane. So how long do you think it takes on a plane?
Anywhere you want to go.
Yeah, but you were close. It almost takes a whole day by plane to get there. So it's a long way to go to Africa. So we live in southern part of Africa called Zambia. And you know that over 100 years ago, missionaries from these churches here, the Brethren in Christ churches, went to Zambia to tell people about Jesus. And when they got there, besides finding out that people didn't know about Jesus, they found out that they didn't have good health care. They didn't have medicines. They had a lot of diseases and sicknesses and things like that. And so you know what they did? They started treating them, and they made a clinic, and you could go see the nurse and the doctor, and eventually they made a hospital. About 70 years ago, they built a hospital in Macha. And yeah, 7 years ago. Can you believe that? It's a long time ago. And so those missionaries are all dead now, but new missionaries have had to go over the years, and we have been working at Macha Hospital now for 3 years. And I'm a surgeon there, and my wife, who's going to speak a little bit later to the adults, is a speech therapist. So she helps little kids like your age that don't know how to speak real well, and she helps them speak. So that's what we do in Zambia. So if you look at the picture in the back there, and I think everyone else can see it up here, you see a bunch of jars that are made out of clay. And you can buy these jars along the road. I have some of them here with me. Why don't you take those there and you can see what you think about these jars. They're pretty cool, aren't they? And what do you think they put in these jars? Some of them are pretty big. These are small ones. Water or salt? Actually, both of those are correct. A lot of these big pots, they're used for water, because when you have to get water, and a lot of the people, I have water in my house that comes out of the tap just like yours, but some of my friends that live out in the village, they don't, and they have to walk to a pump, and they have to pump the water and put it in jars like this or some other kind of container and bring it back to their house. So yeah, they use these for water, and they put salt in them. What else could you put in these things? Grain. I heard grain out there. Yeah, what else? What do you think your mom might want to put in some of these things? She had some of these in her kitchen. Maybe fruits. Yeah, you can put fruit. Yeah, you could put fruit in there, or vegetables. Yeah, they can be used for all kinds of things that you can put in these pots. But you know what? Paul talks to the Corinthians about jars made out of clay just like that. And do you know what he says are jars of clay? He says that you and I are just like these jars of clay. And you know what he says that is inside of these jars of clay? He says that his light is inside of us. Isn't Jesus the light of the world? Have you guys ever seen This Little Light of Mine? I'm going to let it shine. Yeah, you know that song, don't you? And we talk about the light. The Bible says that Jesus is the light of the world, isn't he? But it says that, so when we talk about our light, we're talking about the light of Jesus that's inside of us. And Paul said, we're just like these jars of clay, and we have a light inside of that. If you hand me that short pot there, boy, this pot would be really good for putting a light in it, wouldn't you? Because in Zambia, sometimes we don't have power. We don't have electricity all the time. Sometimes our electricity goes out. And when it does, we have to find some other way to see in the dark. And so we have candles and things like that. And you could put a candle inside of here, and it will make the whole room bright, wouldn't it? Yeah. And so Paul says we're just like that. Jesus has put his light inside of us so that other people can see. And he tells us to be a light and a blessing to all those that come around us. And it's the interesting thing about these pots is, are all these pots the same? They're different, aren't they? Just like you. Every single pot is different. Every single pot has a purpose. Some are for putting salt in, some are for putting vegetables in, some are for putting water in. They all have a different purpose. And Paul says, you're just like one of these pots. You're young right now, but who knows what you're going to grow up to be? Maybe someday you'll be a doctor like me, or a speech therapist, or maybe a farmer, or a policeman, or a fireman, or a nurse. There's all kinds of things that you might be. But you know what God says that you're supposed to do, no matter what job you have?
I might be a pilot.
A pilot, that's a good job. You know, we have an airstrip at our hospital. It's made of dirt. And we have pilots that fly people in. You would enjoy that. That's really cool.
I like to be enjoying when I go to Texas by a plane.
Texas is a long drive if you don't take a plane. That's the best way to go.
I will go there by walk.
That would be even a longer walk for sure. Yeah. So Jesus, so no matter what God calls you to be, whether it's a pilot or a nurse or a doctor or a farmer, he says that we're supposed to be a light. And just like these jars of clay, we're all different, but he puts the same light inside of us that we can show to other people. And so when you go home today, I want you to think about these pots and ask yourself, how can I be a light and a blessing to those around me? How will people look at my pot and say, that's the light of Jesus Christ? By the way you act, by the way you treat your brothers and sisters, the way you listen to your mom and dad, the way you just do things at school. People will say, you know what? That one there, they're a Christian because the way they live their life. And the light of Jesus Christ should shine through us just like it can through these pots. So as you think about the pots that come from Africa, think about how you can be a light and a blessing to those around you today, okay? I think you guys are going to go to Sunday school and have a great time, okay? And I'll see you at lunch afterwards, all right?